What it is, everybody. Day 32, 5 weeks into the war. Big news day for you guys today. This will be a big show, big movement today, big news, especially taken by the stock market, which we've been talking about quite a bit. The battle in this war is an economic battle between us saying things are great and Iran saying that they're not great. And thus far, Iran has been winning, particularly driving up the price of oil, driving down stocks, getting Trump to taco and taco and taco and taco. And it is Taco Tuesday. They call it tacos. Well, yeah, this is a big one. The most epic taco of all time, which is that Trump is willing to leave and not only not achieve the objectives, but leave and with Iran much, much, much better off than it was before the bombing started. It's pretty amazing. Markets are an amazing thing. Stock markets are an amazing thing. The stock market is up a lot, as much as it has been for a long time. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, my thumbnail says it went up 1,400 points. It might have done something like that, up over 1,000 points today. The Dow, the NASDAQ was up like 700 and something, over 3%. And I'm short the NASDAQ. You guys know that. Well, if you watch the show. So I lost a lot of money today on paper for sure, but I'm still committed. I'm still committed. The news was not good. That's what was funny to me, amusing to me. I'm always amused by the way investors react to things. And the price of oil went down a little bit today on news that means the price of oil is going to remain perpetually high indefinitely. The oil market dropped. Everybody sold oil as soon as the news came out in the Wall Street Journal last night. So I'll tell you that news. Should I just tell? Yeah, why not? We do a monologue, and then I'll have videos for you guys too. And also I'll talk about the Noam situation, which is hilarious today, and the auto translate feature of Twitter bringing the whole world closer together, just like Star Trek. So we'll talk about that, show you some Japanese tweets. My whole timeline is Japanese tweets without me asking for it at all, without me caring at all about most of the tweets, which are just pandering to Americans in a lot of cases, but I'll talk about that too. Jackie says, what about all the inside betting on Polymarket? Yeah, so maybe I'll run a poll if you guys want. Oh, let's monetize this content. I have to manually click it on. There we go. Monetization on. Insider betting on Polymarket. Big betting that we are still going to invade, that there will still be ground forces. So we are sending, in a way, we are sending mixed messages in a way. But in a way, we're just surrendering straight up. And people think that's good. Which is fun, which is weird. And like I was listening to the political show I listened to, which is relatively centrist, usually has on a Republican and a Democrat. Some days I can't listen because most of the Democrats on there are still pretty right-wing or supported the Iran war. They don't even have on like real left-wing Democrats. But the Republican on there was trying to justify how leaving with none of our objectives accomplished, except the fake ones that we made up after the fact, like destroying the Navy and destroying the Air Force, as if we went into the conflict saying that that was our goal. That we can't, that declaring victory with the Strait of Hormuz closed is a real victory. With the Strait of Hormuz closed, with the ballistic missile program relatively intact, although we hit a big target last night. So I will say that. we did hit a big munitions bunker last night, so that was effective, it appears. But Iran is still firing missiles, still threatening us. The strait is still closed, and Trump admits that he can't do anything to open up the Strait of Hormuz. And again, that sent the price of oil down a little bit, a little bit. People are pretty wise to it in the end, but it only went down a little bit. It's still, WTI is still over $100. Inside betting. Yeah, people are still betting that we are going to big bets. There was a big bet made today that we're still going to commit ground troops. And I saw somebody else say on Twitter that they have inside information from the White House that we're still planning to invade Karg Island. So that still might be in the cards. And we're sending a backup aircraft carrier right now from the United States to the region, which will take weeks to get there. So we are sending mixed messages in that sense. Like, we're still sending soldiers, we're still sending an aircraft carrier, which will take a long time to get there from America. So we are still keeping our options open, as they would say in the military, while at the same time projecting that the war is almost over. We're about to declare victory, take our ball, and go home. But once again, it's very strange because if the Strait of Hormuz is not open soon, then many people are predicting something like a financial apocalypse, which I'm kind of the one listening to them. And I give it about 2 weeks, about Trump's timeline, for the Strait of Hormuz to be fully open, or certain doom. Basically, that's what I'm predicting on the show. I'm not predicting troop boots on the ground, because Trump is weird like that. And also, I don't think he wants to suffer the losses. His polling is terrible. The worst it's ever been for any president in history at this time in a presidency is what Donald Trump has achieved so far. Right now, he's minus 17 on average by the, like, Nate Silver's polling, by the 538 average. He's minus 17 on the like-dislike graph, which is the worst ever of all time. And we've been around for 250 years at this time in the presidency. So I don't know that it's the worst of all time ever, but for this time in a presidency, it's the worst ever. And Trump probably cares. He probably, although he doesn't show it. He's still referring to his 100% poll as if that's meaningful in support of MAGA Republicans. And he's doing really cringe things like dancing with swords. I just connected to my phone again. The internet here is messed up. Sorry if I was buffering. You guys tuned out. Well, if you tuned out, you're not hearing this. But fortunately, I have unlimited data on my inexpensive phone plan. Unlimited streaming, that is. What do they call it? Unlimited. What do they call it? Tethering, I think. It's not early for me, Mike. It's 3 p.m. We're doing the show around 3 p.m. so I can get out and work the dinner shift while the sun's out on my bicycle. So anyway, those are the news. Kristi Noem's husband is gay and cross-dresser, which apparently the White House didn't know, which is a kind of a failure by the White House to do their vetting before they made her the head of a department, an important department. But her husband is gay and does bimbo pictures and was in chat rooms. And it was revealed today. And of course, it makes her a threat. It's a threat. It's a security threat because, of course, if it isn't widely known that you're a homo like Lindsey Graham, or that you like to dress up in giant boobs and do kissy pictures and go in chat rooms asking people for pictures with their giant boobs, that you can be compromised. That's all, because people can threaten to expose you and blackmail you for it. So that's why it's a security threat. And she claims she didn't know, but I see people on Twitter saying that she did know that her husband was gay. And also it was revealed in the same article that she was screwing, as you say, Mike, Corey Lewandowski. So Zoe says, gay ? He was chatting with big boob chicks. Well, apparently he's gay. That's what people are saying. Apparently there's information that he was gay and a cross-dresser, but he's into particularly big boobs. But I don't know if it was was it chicks? I didn't read the article. Just saw the picture of him. He has a big boob fetish where he likes to have big boobs himself. And apparently was talking about maybe getting real implants or something so he had giant breasts. Forgive me if I'm wrong about the gay, but I saw somebody confirm that Kristi Noem had been telling journalists that he was gay, and it was known among journalists that he was gay. And then also in the article it was revealed that she did have an affair with Corey Lewandowski, and her husband knew about it. So, all right. Somebody asked if I'm on an electric bike. Yes, I'm on an electric bike doing food delivery, but they don't give me many orders. I'm hoping when I get to gold, they'll give me more orders. I'm almost there. We still go out every day. Sometimes we don't get any work. We make, if I make $5 an hour, I'm lucky. That's where we're at right now. So we do the show too, because we're monetized. We hope to make more money doing the show, if possible. That's if people like it. All right. So we're going to talk about the stock market. We're going to talk about what he showed. We're going to talk about, confirmation of alien breeding program with humans, if you believe it. Confirmation of an alien breeding program with humans, and also the United Kingdom has kind of woken up apparently, and they're not going to be as bad as they were, the police. So I'll show you that. I'll show you that as well. So we'll show you all of it. Okay. Everything is everything. Everything is everything. Mike says a dangerous job. Yeah, I crashed my first night. I hit a pothole. That's why I'm not driving in the dark anymore. I hit a huge pothole my first night. Just a wham, terrible pothole. And it's because it was dark and I couldn't see it. So I'm not driving in the dark anymore. Fortunately, it's going to be summer, but we'll see what I do later. I have a light, but it's dangerous being out there in the dark. So I don't drive in the dark right now. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll play our intro and then we'll play. I don't have any new propaganda video from the Iranians today. I think there might have been one I'm not showing, but we didn't see any new propaganda video from the Iranians today. We'll try to tell you everything that's going on. We'll try to tell you everything. All right, get ready, strap in. Boom, boom, okay, boom. Cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news.
Like he did everything he said he was going to do, and he did it.
So what are some of those things that he said and then he did? Just one thing he said and then he did.
He caught me off guard there. I don't know. Yeah. Like he did everything he said he was going to do, and he did it.
Oh, tell me one thing that he said he was going to do that he did. You stumped me there. I don't know. That's your average Trump supporter right now. He said he was going to bring down prices. That didn't happen. Prices went up. They're really going to go up now. Okay, so that didn't work. That was the main thing. The most important thing was bringing down prices. That was the most important thing. He did close down the border. I even could have answered that question better than this guy. He closed down the border. That was good. He's killed woke in a lot of ways. Like women and men's sports are kind of going away. He said he might be speaking right now, Trump. I was tuned in. He was doing a signing. The Olympics, it has a thing now where there's definitely no women and men's sports. He claims that he had something to do with it. Don't know if he did or not, but still, the zeitgeist or whatever changed. The Overton window perhaps shifted. People are less interested. There are fewer people becoming trans. That happened ever since Elon took over Twitter, actually, but continues. There are fewer kids becoming trans. More people are stopping that. So that's good, positive. Woke, good. Standing up for white people, like allowing us to file discrimination lawsuits and stuff. That's positive, I think. That's good. That's good. Deporting a few bad hombres, just a couple, really, not more than Obama or anything, but a few people. That was good. I mean, the way it was done was terrible. And we ended up killing Americans instead, and nobody likes it anymore, but still, at least something, I guess, was accomplished. What else did he do? But the things he didn't do, he said he wasn't going to start any wars, and he said he was going to bring prices down. I think actually that's the most important thing that most people care about. And that's the thing that if you don't open the Strait of Hormuz, which he claims we don't need, it's really crazy. That's the thing. Like if we don't open it immediately, especially like within the next couple of weeks or so, then prices will have, there will likely be permanent damage if there is not already, which there probably is already according to most people. Permanent damage. Prices will go up unless the economy collapses, and then that's bad too. So, and probably there will be a worldwide depression. He's also lost the respect of our allies by insulting them constantly, threatening to take over Greenland. Everybody's selling treasuries at a record rate. He promised he'd bring down interest rates. Interest rates are much higher right now. Mortgage rates are over 7%. Said he'd bring down the price of housing, and then said actually he doesn't want to bring down the price of housing. But otherwise, pretty successful presidency. I would have been able to do better. He said he was going to close the border. He closed the border. Just stop there. He closed the border. That's good. And it will be very hard force any future presidents to open up the border again without meeting quite a bit of backlash, because I believe most people support the closing the border thing. So we'll end there. He did a good job closing the border. I still don't wish that Kamala won. I still don't. I still don't wish it was Kamala instead of Trump. I still don't. She might have done this thing in Iran. I don't know. She was probably unlikely to. The thing in Iran is really bad, epically bad. It's probably going to be the worst thing we've ever done, ever, as far as war goes. It's probably the worst defeat and the biggest miscalculation in the history of our country, worse than Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, and the other wars we remember. It will probably go down as the dumbest ever of all time, with the worst results, actually, most likely. Yeah. But still, I'm still not like, I don't have regret. I don't have real regret. I wish I hadn't voted, I guess, but I don't care that I voted for Trump. I'm okay with it. I hate him now, really, particularly, but that's not, I don't believe that's the result of TDS. I believe that's just the result of independent thinking, because like other independents, I just don't like him anymore. Anyway, here he is. Here he is while the world is burning. Apparently at a ceremony recently. I could go for a little more seriousness. The gay national anthem, as he even says. And he's doing a kissy face too. Awesome. All right. And you'll have to read the subtitles on this one. This is a good one. You have seen this scene many times. I've played this scene before from a movie about Hitler while he's in his bunker and things are going really badly for him. This one is particularly well written. You'll have to read the subtitles though. So I'm sorry for the podcast, but I'm not going to read the subtitles for you guys like I do when it's in Iranian or something, or Persian or whatever. You'll have to read them yourselves and watch the show. Tune into the show on YouTube, youtube.com/lifttheveil. All right, here we go. I'll show you this video. This, I believe, was made by Americans who are making fun of Donald Trump. Not just Iranians are making fun of Donald Trump.
Es ist dem Feind gelungen, die Front in breiter Formation zu durchbrechen. Im Süden hat der Gegner Zossen genommen und stößt auf Stahnsdorf vor. Der Feind operiert jetzt am nördlichen Stadtrand zwischen Frohnau und Pankow, und im Osten ist der Feind bis zur Linie Lichtenberg-Marsdorf-Karlshorst gelangt.
Mit dem Angriff Steiners wird das alles in Ordnung kommen.
Mein Führer, Steiner
konnte nicht genügend Kräfte für einen Angriff massieren. Der Angriff Steiner ist nicht erfolgt.
Es bleiben im Raum Keitel, Jodl, Krebs und Burgdorf.
Give you a better view of the subtitles. They're being cut off.
Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl! Wer schickt Sie? Dass Sie es wagen, Sie meinen Befehl zu widersetzen! So weit ist es also gekommen. Das Militär hat mich belogen! Jeder hat mich belogen, sogar die SS! Die gesamte Generalität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger, treuloser Feiglinge!
Mein Führer, ich kann nicht zulassen, dass die Soldaten, die für Sie verbringen...
Nicht als Feiglinge! Verreiter, Versager!
Mein Führer, was Sie da sagen, ist ungeheuerlich.
Die Generalität ist das Geschmeiß des deutschen Volkes! Sie ist ohne Ehre! Sie nennen sich Generale, weil sie Jahre auf Militärakademien zugebracht haben, nur um zu lernen, wie man Messer und Gabel hält. Jahrelang hat das Militär meine Aktionen nur behindert. Es hat mich jeden nur gegen Widerstand in den Weg gelegt. Ich hätte gut daran getan, von Jahren alle höheren Offiziere liquidieren zu lassen, wie Stalin. Ich war nie auf einer Akademie. Und doch habe ich allein auf mich gestellt, ganz Europa erobert. Verräter. Von allem Anfang an bin ich so verraten und betrogen worden. Es wurde ein ungeheurer Verrat geübt am deutschen Volke. Aber alle diese Verräter werden bezahlen. Mit ihrem eigenen Blut werden sie bezahlen. Sie werden das saufen in ihrem eigenen Blut.
Bitte, Gerda. Jetzt beruhig dich doch.
Meine Befehle sind in den Wind gesprochen. Es ist unmöglich, unter diesen Umständen zu führen. Es ist aus. Der Krieg ist verloren. Aber wenn Sie, meine Herren, glauben, dass ich deswegen Berlin verlasse, irren Sie sich gewaltig. Eher jage ich mir eine Kugel durch den Kopf. Tun Sie, was Sie wollen.
The last part was the only part that made me laugh out loud when I was watching it. Doing my job the other day. All right. Sorry, that was it. Could be Iranian, but probably American propaganda. All right. Here is the pictures of the guy, the cross-dressing freak, Christy Noem's husband, who said he is posting pouting busty bimbo photos and sent a bunch of explicit messages. This is the picture of him in his boob outfit and tight pink booty shorts. So, all right. So, the big news before I get to the war, since I have these on top, is my entire feed is basically Japanese tweets now. Not sure if you're experiencing the same thing. If you're on Twitter, you probably are. Twitter has advanced the auto translate feature enough that it perfectly translates languages to English. So we've been seeing a lot of Iranian tweets, which is really helpful. When they tweet in Persian, it's translated to English, so we get to see what they're saying. The obsession right now appears to be with Japanese people who people think are funny. So I've highlighted a few funny tweets that I ran across in Japanese. So there seems to be a fetish, you could call it, as if there wasn't already a problem with fetishizing Asian women in this country. But there's a fetish with the Japanese. They have a fetish with the Americans. I predict that there will be much tourism as a result of this between the two countries. They are obsessed with our food and our weed, it seems like, but also our women. Here's an example of a tweet that's translated from Japanese of this newswoman here. He posted all these pictures of this newswoman in where is Sioux Falls, Omaha, Nebraska. Looks like Nebraska. She looks Nebraskan. Okay. So he posted all these pictures. He says, I want to grab and shake that plump, protruding belly overflowing with excess flesh and fatten it up even more, making the clothes it's wearing now burst at the seams to the point where the skin underneath is visible through the fabric. This is what's on my feed. So that was from Japan. Here's another one. American bros seem to like big tits and big asses too. Us too, brother. That was originally in Japanese and appeared on my feed. And then this tweet that says, in the United States, I'd like you to tell me the meaning of twerking In Japan, pointing your butt towards someone is considered poor manners. So this is truly fascinating. So that's what we're having. It's like Star Trek. Star Trek, it was okay that it was all in English, even though it was aliens and foreigners, because they had an auto translate feature. So if somebody spoke, the computer automatically translated it into your language. So that's where we're at right now. I've seen tweets from Japanese people, Iranian people, and now some French people too. Anyway, let's get to the news. So big news last night. You could call it a taco or maybe the ultimate taco. And like I said, it's Taco Tuesday. You could definitely call it that. Trump has been projecting or suggesting for a while that he may not do anything to open the Strait of Hormuz. And they've been saying that they expect, because we don't need the Strait of Hormuz. So many times Marco Rubio, has said other countries were very upset about other countries not coming in to fix the Strait of Hormuz, a problem which did not exist. And as far as we know, would not have existed without our decision to bomb Iran with Israel, or basically on behalf of Israel. They had never, even though the parliament and stuff had talked about shutting the Strait of Hormuz, they had never gone through with it before. And they immediately did it as soon as we bombed them. And now they're waging an economic war on the entire world to put pressure on America. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz is either a problem or it's not a problem at all for America. And Trump seems to suggest that it's not a problem at all for America. This headline immediately sent markets different ways. The price of oil went down. That was crazy to me. Trump tells aides he's willing to end war without reopening Hormuz. Reopening Hormuz was not considered one of the original objectives of this war. The original objectives were getting rid of the ballistic missile program, making sure the nuclear program was dead, and making sure they didn't fund proxies. There was also regime change. That was quickly abandoned. Mostly they focused on the ballistic missiles. It was never, until recently, an objective of this mission, military operation, to it was never, what? I don't know. I was about to say it was never. Anyway, he's saying now that he's willing to end the war without reopening Hormuz. Big headline. Once again, markets went up a lot. Oil went down. I'll tell you why it's weird is this headline is really bad if you think about it, for oil prices in particular, specifically, and also for stocks. It's actually really bad because it's really important for Americans, but really it's true. It's for other countries. It's more important, but it's really important for Americans that the Strait of Hormuz return to ordinary business as soon as possible, so as to reverse the damage as much as possible that has already been done, which is that gas prices are now over $4 nationwide officially, and are going continue to go up, and the price of oil continues to go up. The only reason the price of oil has not gone up further than it has so far until this headline, in my understanding, was that people expect the Strait of Hormuz to be open again and for things to return to normal. It's actually what Trump and everybody from the administration has been saying, which is that this will be short-lived and the price of oil will immediately go right back down to where it was. But the only scenario where that's possible is if the Strait of Hormuz opens again, because right now we're losing less than 20% of total supply, because some of it's just being pumped to the Red Sea for now. But if it continues for any period of time, world economies are screwed, and the American economy is screwed too. Everybody agrees that if the price of oil gets to like 150, then we're going to go into a recession pretty much. And to me, this headline says that it is much more likely that oil will continue to be high for a long time. And I've consistently claimed since my first show about the Iran war that we were losing because the Strait of Hormuz is closed and is going to be closed indefinitely. The fact that oil prices went down at all, it wasn't a lot, but it was significant at first. Maybe they went down about 5% at first, is crazy, because this is really bad. We need to fix this problem if we want our economy to exist. Trump, and this is admitting defeat. My headline is not incorrect. This is admitting that we don't know how to do it. Right? This is admitting that we don't know how to do it. Trump has made his threats. He knows it's important because he just made another huge threat that they have to open it right away. But he's aware that nothing he threatens works, that even if he nukes them, they might still keep the strait closed. And there's literally nothing we can do about it. Okay? And Iran is profiting from it. So there is no incentive that I see. Many people are claiming, including the people who are, excited that the stock market's going up and stuff like that. Many people are claiming that once we leave, then they'll open up the strait themselves because they're incentivized to do so. There won't be any reason anymore to keep the strait closed once we leave. Some people are saying, like I was listening to a stock guy this morning. He was like, stock guys are like, I don't care about anything. I just want stocks to go up. And if we stop bombing them, stocks should go up. And I told him in his comments, I was like, you do not understand. The Strait of Hormuz is the most important part. And if we're going to leave without fixing that, then your stocks are never going up again, at least not anytime soon. In fact, they're going to go a lot further down. It's going to be like COVID, basically, where there are going to be COVID lockdowns. There already are. They're already starting. COVID lockdowns, energy lockdowns in this case, which many people have been predicting, is that we would have lockdowns again over something else. It's happening. Okay. It's happening slowly. And we're only 32 days in. The lockdowns are happening. If things continue, they might come here too. I'm not predicting with 100% certainty that we're going to have real COVID style lockdowns again, but we might. We have plenty of oil, but the problem is we have plenty of oil. He's right about that. We'll be the last ones after like Russia and Iran to tell people they can't drive, but we might end up having to because prices are going to be so high, and also other countries are going to depend on us to ship our oil, which normally supplies us, to them. And the way free markets work, which you would think Trump would understand. You would think Trump would understand this. I can't tell. He knows it's important. That's why he keeps threatening them. But he's willing to quit without fixing it and say that America's just going to be fine and everybody else can fix it. It's a free market. Without us outlawing energy exports, the way Russia is maybe starting to do and going to a more communist form of government, basically, price fixing, oil goes up for us too. That's all. It doesn't matter how much we have or that it's enough to supply us. As long as we exist in a free market, our energy producers will sell to the highest bidder. And the highest bidders are going to be whoever's the most desperate for oil. And so if that's not Americans, then it's going to be somebody else, which means if Americans want the same oil, then we have to pay what everybody else is willing to pay. And that's a good thing. This is why that's a good thing, and that we should not nationalize oil and set a limit on the price, which maybe some people will be calling for soon. We could do it. We could say, hey, we're not going to export any oil, and we're going to fix the price. We're going to fix it at $100 a barrel, for example. The problem with doing that is that the free market exists to incentivize more oil production. So the way the system is supposed to fix itself in this kind of situation is the price goes up, and therefore more people drill more oil, which is happening, I'm sure, in the United States right now. Frackers in Texas were not making any profit when gas was cheap. That's the problem with it being cheap. Investors, our oil companies, weren't really that interested in going to Venezuela with oil at $60 a barrel because it's very expensive to extract the shitty oil that's underneath Venezuela. There might be a lot of it there. And if people think that us taking Venezuela is going to save us from this, and the fact that they have so much oil underneath and so forth, that oil is super hard to get and would take about a decade to produce more than they were already producing. They're kind of maxed out. Okay. The price of oil didn't go down after we took Venezuela. If it was really a big deal and we really couldn't increase production right away, it would have. There need to be investments that take many, many years to accomplish before we start extracting any more from there. But we want the price to go up, or our oil companies, the price should go up so that we drill more, because there's some oil that's more expensive. That's all. There's oil that's more expensive to get out of the ground that we normally don't dig for because it's not worth it. The Saudis, the Iranians, the people in the desert, and the Russians to a large extent have, and some American producers too, but particularly the Saudis, their oil is simple and cheap to bring up out of the ground. So they're always willing to drill for more oil. The problem is now with the Strait of Hormuz closed, and likely in the future, the Strait of, if we do anything else that pisses off the Iranians, they'll close the Red Sea too. So their oil can't leave. And Iran may have just blown up a major pipeline from Saudi Arabia too. So Sheila, Trump fan, Trump is using another route, not using Hormuz. Yes, they're using the Red Sea to a lot of, so they say 20% is offline, which is mostly true. They say about maybe 10 boats went through today. I'm not sure if that's true. It was maybe 5. More boats are going through Hormuz, but it used to be 100 or so, and some a day. So it's at least 90% down. But it's true. The Saudis are rerouting many millions of barrels to the West Coast, to the Red Sea at this moment. So it's not as bad as it could be at this moment. You are correct, Sheila. It's not Trump using another route. The Saudis set it up in advance in case Iran did this. They set up a pipeline that goes from the Persian Gulf to the Red Sea. But Iran may have just blown up that pipeline. And if that's true, then another huge amount of oil is offline. Right now, it's less than 20% offline. If Iran gets pissed off enough, it's very simple for them to send a camel, because they can't make phone calls, right? Because they'll be intercepted. So they'll send a camel jockey across the desert to deliver a note, probably, to the Houthis to fire their missiles into the Red Sea. And then we're really screwed. Then the price of oil goes up $20 in a day. Easily. If they close the Red Sea. Then 32%, they say, is completely offline. No way around it. Okay. So that's an escalation that Iran is holding in their pocket. People think Iran is not, the more optimistic people think Iran is not doing things because they can't, but I don't think that's true. They're not doing things because they want to have the ability to escalate if we escalate. So, which is how the war has gone thus far. They didn't strike oil and gas facilities until the Israelis struck oil and gas facilities. They didn't go after a desalination plant until the Israelis struck one of their water sources. They didn't destroy an aluminum plant until we destroyed their steel plants, right? So it's been escalation ladder dictated by what we do to them. So the Red Sea is, they know if they close the Red Sea, they'll get bombed war. I mean, they don't want to get bombed wars. They don't want to, but they're willing to, because they'll do as much. They know they can do this is their line, but I believe it's true. They're willing to take as much punishment as it takes to achieve their objectives. They're not inviting the punishment, but they're willing to take it because they know they can give back twice as bad as we can give them. Because if we shut down their power grid, then they'll close the Red Sea. They'll blow up everything in all the oil facilities in Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states. And then we're really, really screwed. Not because missiles are coming to America. They're not activating terror cells yet. None of that stuff. But it's a financial war. That's all. They're waging a financial war. And whatever we do, they're going to respond in a way that's going to hurt us even more. And like I said, the damage may have already been done. It just hasn't worked its way through the markets yet. So anyway, that's the headline that immediately moved the market, like I said. And then there was another headline that came later, which was that the president, Peshkanaz, or whatever his name is, he said yesterday, it was really kind of almost like fake news or old news, but it made the stock market pump even more during the day, which was that he said, we want peace. Iran wants peace if they can get certain agreements. I don't remember what the exact line was. Iran wants peace. They want the war to stop if they can get certain agreements. But the most important thing is they've said that a million times. It's what they want, that we're never, at least Trump is never, ever going to accept their terms. So it's actually a completely meaningless statement. So the stock market was up over 3% today, the NASDAQ, on news that was not positive in any way. So if you are thinking about investing in stocks because you think the war is going to be over, I would just say, slow down. That's all. Perhaps. This is not investment advice, just show. So I think this will be faded like the other news has been faded eventually, but we might have another good day tomorrow. Everybody's short the stock market. That's why you can have huge pumps. Everybody's short. So we had a short squeeze today. So anyway, what Trump suggested in that article was that everybody else has to fix the problem, which I said our strategy is we broke it, you bought it. That's why I've said it a number of times. We broke it, you bought it. So we fucked up. We bombed Iran. We started a war we didn't have to, all because Israel wanted to, because Israel wants to dominate the Middle East and we're willing to help them. World economic consequences followed and are getting worse every day. And now we're going to leave and tell you you're a pussy if you don't fix it. The problem that we can't fix, and we just admitted we can't fix. The strongest military in the world, the American military, which doesn't need NATO, which everybody depends on us. We don't know how to fix the Strait of Hormuz problem, but you guys can fix it. It'll be easy and you're a pussy. That's what Trump is literally telling people. So this is from the press conference this morning. I think this is this is going to be Pete Hegseth. It's just saying the same thing Rubio said too. This has been, I can't remember the right word for it. We've pre-warned people about this. Trump has sent a number of Truth Social posts where he was like, we don't need the oil. Why doesn't everybody else fix it? He said that a million times. So now it's official. We're not going to fix it. You have to fix it. So here's Hegseth saying that.
I know you slightly addressed this already, but just on the Strait of Hormuz, is opening the strait an essential objective to Operation Epic Fury, or is that the job of those other countries? And then secondly, without asking you to comment on things that you can't talk about, what is your message to Americans who love the president and strongly believe in him, but are very worried about this notion of boots on the ground?
Well, first on the Strait of Hormuz, our core objectives from this podium, from day one, from me, from the chairman, from the president, from the vice president, from Secretary Rubio and others have been clear. Defense missile production and missile programs, so their entire missile program.
It's not
defense
done.
Industrial base and production ability to build, and Navy and power projection. So those have been, and then of course, wrapping it all is Iran's never going to have a nuclear weapon. So those have been very clear. Defeating.
Not accomplished. Trump admitted it today, right before I went live. If anything, we're going to perpetually be at war with Iran. Missiles still firing every day. Strait of Hormuz is still closed because they still have missiles and drones. They have factories underground where they can build more. Not gotten rid of. They say they can do a war for 6 months.
The Navy's a core part of ensuring they can't project that kind of power. But ultimately, I think the president's truth this morning lays that out very well, that this Strait of Hormuz issue, which we've set the conditions for success, and we will make sure Iran knows that very clearly, is not just a United States of America problem set. We've been willing to lead. President Trump's led the entire time, but it's not just us. So ultimately, I think other countries should pay attention when the president speaks. He's proven that when he speaks, he means something. And he's pointing out, might want to start learning how to fight for yourself. It's something some of us have been saying for quite some time. You can't just have flags. You have to have formations. You can't just have a few ships. You have enough to affect change. Those things matter in a dangerous world with ascendant adversaries.
Okay, so there he is, just saying what Trump has been saying. I'll show you before I move on. This is what Trump tweeted. Truth. All of those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the United States. We have plenty. And number two, build up some delayed courage go to the strait and just take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own oil, which of course is a huge insult to the United Kingdom, which didn't know about the decapitation in advance, couldn't have participated in it because we didn't tell anybody or consult with anybody about it. If it was easy, our Navy would do it. If they've been essentially decimated, then we would do it. It affects us too, just as much as everybody else, eventually. If it was so freaking easy, then we would do it. Nobody else wants to do it because they know that driving your boat up the Strait of Hormuz is a death sentence. They have drone torpedoes roaming around. We decimated their Navy. They still have hundreds of boats underground, little speedboats. Many of them are drones. Many of them don't need humans that can run into your boat and blow it up, laced with explosives. They have missiles. They have drones. And you'd be right next to their country. If they're firing missiles every day into Israel and hitting things, then they're going to hit boats too. That's why our boats are parked a million miles away. They're not even close. That's how much navies matter. Like, okay, we have a navy where we could escort boats through the Strait of Hormuz. Well, they're just they're just targets. As soon as they go into the Persian Gulf, they're targets. Just like as soon as we send soldiers into the Persian Gulf, they're targets. That's why we probably aren't even going to go after Karg Island, even though maybe we will. Because we haven't destroyed their missile program. We haven't prevented them from launching drones. And they're going to build a nuclear bomb anyway. And Trump even said it today, just before I went live. Well, when they get close again, we'll just bomb them again. Well, no. Iran's not going to let you do that this time. So anyway, that's the story. Just insulting our allies once again, which you'd think was fine, because it's Trump, but they don't want to help us anymore. And they don't want our stupid debt anymore, which is the other problem besides the price of oil. More important than the price of stocks is the price of our bonds, which are going down because everybody's selling them because they're trying to support their own currencies. They need money and they don't see the point. And we're basically insolvent anyway. So everybody's selling our stuff. And eventually the dollar could collapse too. So far the dollar's stronger because everybody needs cash right now. So everybody's buying dollars and selling other things. But eventually it could crash our currency too if nobody wants our stuff anymore because they hate us. So it's just not helpful to criticize our allies and also to start something that you can't fix and tell everybody else to fix it. So that's the line, basically. Go get your own oil. Everybody knows Iran has the upper hand still until things change. Iran has the upper hand. And we can't destroy their underground factories unless we send in 1 million troops. Trump's not going to do that. So, strategic defeat. I have more Hegseth. Trump wants the war to be over in 6 weeks. The reason he said he doesn't want to take Hormuz is because it'll take too long. There's no reports that he's bored. He's bored of the war, which is great. He's bored. He said it would take 6 weeks. He doesn't want it to go longer than that. if we wanted to open the Strait of Hormuz, it would take longer. We'd have to occupy one of those islands for an extended period, well, indefinitely. Get supplies to them. We'd have to occupy one of those islands indefinitely, which we can't do with missiles and drones raining down on us. So he knows he doesn't want to do that. He wants to stick to his timeline. And it's probably because he thinks the stock market will go up again or whatever. But anyway, Hegseth has mixed messages about the timing. I'll play that.
Not a question I'm going to answer or the president has said definitively. We have our own goals and guidance and things military objectives that we're moving toward and things that we look at. And as he's articulated, he's said 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, 3. It could be any particular number, but we would never reveal precisely what it is.
Okay. He has already revealed it. That's one of the problems also, is Iran knows we're on a timeline. So they know that if they can last longer than 2 weeks, then that's a strategic victory. If they can last a couple months, that's a strategic victory. If they can last 6 months, which they say they can, that's a strategic victory. Here he is telling stories. Didn't he have a story about his kid too? Here's his storytelling. You can decide if this is along the things that never happened.
I did the same with his boss, a colonel with a heart the size of Texas and a beautiful deployment mustache to match. I witnessed lethality. I met a junior airman as the sun was going down and a chill was setting on the tarmac, who, when asked what they needed, she simply looked up at me with a sly smile on her face and said, "More bombs, sir, and bigger bombs. We will happily oblige her."
There you go.
I did the same with his boss.
That's what our airmen are saying. She was a female, but I guess they're still airmen. So the president came out and said that they want peace, but we have to meet certain conditions, which is nothing new, which pumped the markets because he said he wanted peace. The conditions they want are very clear. They've said it many times. No more attacks ever again by international agreements, by an act of Congress in the United States. That means no attacks from us, no attacks from Israel ever again, in writing, in a way that another president can't just revoke. Permanent. If we don't do that, Strait of Hormuz stays closed. Bombing Israel keeps going, eventually escalating to bombing oil fields and everything else. Reparations. We have to pay to rebuild everything. That's one of their demands, which Trump will never agree to. Ever, probably. Cease of all hostilities everywhere, including Lebanon, Gaza. Cease of hostilities everywhere by everyone, especially Israel. So Israel has to agree to whatever we agree to too. They're trying to take over southern Lebanon right now. They've occupied it. They'd have to withdraw immediately. They still want to fund their proxies because that's part of the way they defend themselves. The Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas. They aren't going to stop them. They demand sovereignty. In other words, they demand the right to do whatever the fuck they want, which includes peaceful enrichment, nuclear power, and having as many ballistic missiles as they want. That's their demands. No restrictions on the ballistic missile program. That's their demand. So if people think that we're going to suddenly agree to that, they're smoking. And likewise with our demands on them, Trump keeps claiming that they've agreed to our demands. They've agreed before to never make a nuclear bomb. I think they're still willing to, if they get everything they want. it's probably not untrue that they've agreed to never make a nuclear bomb because they've shown that they don't need one. If they have their ballistic missile program, their drone program, they can defend themselves against hostilities. We also have to remove all sanctions, which we've offered in exchange for our demands. We're willing to do that. We've already removed most sanctions. They're making 100% more selling oil than they were before the war started. But if people think that means there's going to be a deal right away because the president said we want peace if you meet our demands, that's what they've been saying the whole time. Their demands are pretty simple, like leave us alone. Otherwise, we're going to keep bombing you. We're eventually going to escalate. And we're going to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed. And in fact, we're going to do that forever. That's one of our demands too, that we maintain permanent sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, toll road, everything. They want to set up a new regime where they impose fees on the Strait of Hormuz that they collect, environmental fees, etc. So if we're okay with that, then yeah. If we're okay with all those demands, sure. But in the meantime, they just keep threatening us. So, and they issued clarifying statements. It didn't matter. The market kept pumping. They issued clarifying statements all day. Didn't matter. Market kept pumping. They threatened all our technology companies in the region. All of them said they should abandon their buildings. They're going to start bombing them tomorrow in response to all the assassinations. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, Intel, Oracle, IBM, Meta, Boeing. So they're still threatening. No sign the conflict's going to end anytime soon. We can leave. They'll keep bombing. Here's the insider trading. $800,000 bet by somebody who bet the exact day of the invasion that we are going to send in ground troops. I think before the end of April, probably. We did hit a missile depot. You can see that here. So we did actually hit something important for once, not an empty building. So here you can see we used bunker busters and blew up some kind of weapons depot, it looks like. So that's actually something that hurts the Iranians. To think I only show pro-Iranian news. So we actually did that. That's video. That's proof of that. All right, what else? Lindsey Graham is apparently telling Trump to wind down the war. Even though he was the one saying to escalate. That's new. What's Trump doing? He pardoned this Jewish guy who is a fraudster, nursing home operator who got sued for a bunch of wrongful deaths. $39 million fraud scheme. Trump just pardoned him, hasn't paid back any of his victims. All right, in financial news, jobs, a type of jobs report came out today, a job openings report. Lowest since the tariff tantrum. Lowest since the tariff tantrum in April of last year when Trump was threatening everybody with 100% tariffs. Lowest amount of job openings. Job numbers come out Friday when the market's closed for a 3-day weekend. They were bad last month. If they're bad again, expect Monday to be bad for the stock market. Because the only thing saving us right now is the economy's still okay so far. Employment is still okay. We're not creating many jobs, but people aren't losing many jobs. We don't have illegal immigrants anymore, so we don't need to create as many jobs as we did before. So right now it's like nobody gets hired, nobody gets fired, mostly. But last month was bad. It was a big mess, negative jobs. Jobs numbers come out Friday. If they're bad, then it's a sign of recession. And then Job losses, if they start, will cascade, and the unemployment rate can go up extremely fast. And that's what we may have been headed for anyway. I was short the stock market before the war because of some of these problems. We were probably headed toward economic problems anyway. The bottom 80% were really suffering. So anyway, if that starts, then we're in really big trouble. Then the whole economic picture changes. So that's going to come out Friday. Anyway, job openings. This is report about what I said were bonds. The more bonds get sold, which means the price on them goes down, that means interest rates go up. Interest rates are going up because of inflation predictions. The inflation predictions are because the price of oil is going up. The price of oil didn't go down much today. I'm mostly watching that now. Almost every day since the war started, if oil goes up, the stock market goes down. The days oil goes up, almost every single day except for one. And now, except for one. When oil goes up, the stock market has gone down. The Strait of Hormuz being closed longer is not good for oil. Oil prices we expect to continue to climb. That makes people sell bonds and interest rates go up. Interest rates going up, we know Trump hates that. That makes everything more expensive for everybody, especially companies which have to borrow in order to hire, in order to invest. Most of the investment in AI has been with borrowed money. When rates go up, their expenses go up. They can't invest as much. The economy goes down. We're headed for a recession if things don't change. Foreign central banks are selling treasuries. That's what this chart shows. Foreign central banks are selling treasuries. They're selling gold too, because they need money because of the problem we created. Gold kind of did good today, though. Oracle is firing 30,000 people, so that's another big layoff. All right, energy lockdowns. The European Commission has just urged people to work from home, drive and fly less, and for EU countries to urgently roll out renewables as it warned of a prolonged energy crisis as a result of conflict in the Gulf. The International Energy Agency already said that. The Philippines declared a state of emergency. Australia is running out as fuel stations that don't have fuel. There's chaos at gas stations in India. I showed you a video from the UK where people are filling up grocery bags with gasoline, either because they're afraid they're going to run out or they're afraid it's going to be much more expensive the next time they show up. Indonesia just declared a lockdown, a type of lockdown. Germany, they're telling people to work from home. It's gonna get to COVID lockdowns, and that's simply because there's not enough fuel to go around. It's not necessarily because they want to control us and lock us down. It's literally that there's not enough fuel to go around, which means we have to stop driving or just run out. So, and like I said, it might be coming to America. During COVID, locking people down saved apparently about 9% of fuel. We reduced oil consumption by something like 9% during the COVID lockdowns. If this current state of affairs holds for an extended period of time, then that's up to 20%, up to 30% if they close the Red Sea, which means there will be lockdowns. They're definitely coming to other countries. They've already hit other countries, and we're only in day 32. UK just got its last shipment of jet fuel. You won't be allowed to fly, or it'll become so expensive that you won't want to. It'll come to America probably last, but it might work from home, etc. is coming everywhere. Lockdowns, effectively lockdowns. Energy prices, not just gasoline, but much energy is produced with natural gas. That's not to mention helium and fertilizer. Canadian Union is calling for full-time work from home due to spiking gas prices in British Columbia. I have news from the UK, which is that the police all of a sudden have got their wits about them. All of a sudden, they released 2 statements from the UK Home Office today. One is that they're no longer going to investigate legal social media posts because it wastes their time, which means that they were spending a lot of time investigating what they knew to be completely legal social media posts and harassing people for it. So for some reason, the UK is getting into that. And the same day, they said they're going after grooming gangs, and they're going to look into the racial and ethnic, religious, culture reasons that the grooming gangs were allowed to exist for so long. So that's positive news from the UK. The Republicans are going to lose the election with almost 100% certainty in the fall. So they're actually calling to ban Democrats. I'll listen to that. Let's hear.
At some point, I think Mr. Trump is going to have to go Abe Lincoln on the Democratic Party. He's going to have to declare some kind of a national emergency. He may have to declare the Democratic Party as a seditious outlaw organization and do something about it. That's
crazy talk. No, listen,
that's pretty
what do you
stringent.
Well, see, here's the thing. Here's part of the larger narrative. We live in a time where stringent is no longer on the table. Like we kind of act like we've evolved past having to do anything
sometimes
dramatic. Well,
sometimes
no, I mean, you know, and I know it's not.
Sometimes times require, real action that can't be avoided.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You know that, and I know that, but we live in a world where people act like we can't go there.
Yeah.
We moved past that.
Well, we
like
might
they
have
did
to go
that
there. I mean, you
past.
just wrote a book about the American Revolution. Those people had to go there. They went there because they were compelled to go there because circumstances required them to go there. And it seems to me that circumstances may require Mr. Trump to go to a place where he has to declare certain emergency executive powers to deal with an organization that wants to destroy the country. And, and that means probably taking some people off the game board in a very demonstrative way.
You have to wonder what that would look like.
Yeah, well, I think it would probably look something like a civil war.
As he puts his arms behind his head. I like how people call for civil war, like really flippantly. Okay, I know what we'll do to win the election. We will outlaw Democrats because everybody hates us. That's smart. Our allies aren't supporting us. Spain, Italy, Poland, we're asking for Patriot missiles from Poland. They're not giving them to us. Italy's not letting our planes land there. Here we go. The hybrid breeding program. Sorry, I know everybody was waiting for that. Hybrid breeding program confirmed by Matt Gaetz. Let's see. Aliens.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating. What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
Yeah, I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army came into my office at in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened. And what he wanted was a group, members of Congress, to all show up at the same time at all of these different locations so that any of those activities could not be moved. And of course, it's a physical impossibility to get members of Congress to simultaneously show up at like 8 locations at one time. And so that never occurred.
What do you think? I don't know. Might be true. I think we're aliens already. I think we're probably spliced with alien DNA, probably Pleiadian. We have to mate with them so that we can have telepathy like they do, probably. They have telepathy. We have telepathy too, but we don't know how to use it, I think. Interesting theory. Trump Library is going to be built. This is the Trump Library. It's going to be this big building in Miami, 47 stories tall. It's going to have a huge golden statue of Donald Trump. There's a huge golden statue of Kim Jong-un, I think, in North Korea. People are just pointing that out. I guess this is a real thing. The highlight feature is going to be a giant gold statue of Donald Trump. Of course, gold. So there you go. That's the story for today. Remember, you can buy t-shirts and you can support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. It's always scrolling across the bottom of your screen. I got a super chat via Cash App during the show. Thank you for the person who gave me that. I saw it come in. Thank you. Cash App is this right here, $ LTV411. You can also go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil, buy coffees, and you can buy very inexpensive t-shirts. I didn't get any coffees during this show. You can also buy these t-shirts at truthclothing.io. Right here, many of these shirts, these are all on sale for $5 and $10. Many Bitcoin shirts, many Question Everything shirts. It's a very popular design. Some Truth Matters. Some Freedom of Faith shirts from the mask days. Those are made in America. They're $5 each. Masked American Vagabond shirts for people who like that guy. And Question Everything shirts. And a women's slouchy that says Lift the Veil on it. Lift the Veil, never normal. And then all these women's slouchies here, still on sale, $10 each. Super high quality shirts. No joke. Screen printed, not digitally printed, not drop shipped. Actually here in this room with me. In stock. I will personally pack and ship your package. So if you like the sound of that, buy several. They will be sold out eventually. It is a close out, going out of business sale till further notice. $5 and $10 t-shirts, outstanding quality, last a long time. I'm wearing one right now. It says decentralized, based on a Kanye West tweet. All right. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Trying to do a show every day if possible. So if I'm back tomorrow, it'll be around 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Tune in for the Lift the Veil show, a show like you can get nowhere else. We hope, probably. All right. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you perhaps tomorrow. For now, that's what it is.